Here it is. So, when you were away, there is no internet where you are.
But if the hours are not, there is internet, but the hours are.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it would be, I don't know, 1 a.m. or something like that.
So, the goal of the Eastern wisdom is to discover the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Fact is that we are. Our essential nature is peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So, during the journey, we have understood that it is the impure mind that veils our real nature, means it covers our real nature, and that is why we are not able to experience and realize our real self. But why the mind and the real self are different? We have to be very clear, rationally and understanding, because it is only the mind where all the experiences takes place. All the experiences takes place in the mind. So when we say the impure mind, we also talk of the ignorance, we also talk of the wrong notion, we also talk of the delusion. Recently, this young guy called me and he said, I'm totally frustrated. Huh? I had all good relationship. Now it is broken and she is not texting me. So will you be happy if she send the text to you? I will be happy. Okay, then you give me her number. I will request her and make sure that she sends you the text. What kind of a text? That she loves me. I said no. So, but make sure if she send the text that I love you, all your frustration will come to an end forever. So instead of a weekly session, he had 3 sessions this week. I said, tell me why it is so. Do you see it is not a delusion? Yes, I understand it's a delusion, but what I have to do with my experience? You see? So modern psychologists will stop there. They will say, yes, you are frustrated, you may resort to drinking, then better take these pills and sleep. So, what the Eastern wisdom said, then I said, okay, do you understand the difference between an experience and knowledge? Pay attention. What is it? I said, do you see the mirage water? Do you feel it? Do you experience it? Yes. But is the mirage water true? No, it is not true. It's a delusion. So, is your experience a delusion and knowledge is somewhere else? What is it? Peace and happiness lies within you. It does not depend on simple text that you can study. You can write yourself. You can write yourself that she loves you. Understand, we have to understand this nature of the mind. Now, do you think that it works? I said, whatever you said, I'm just making you clear. Experience is different than the knowledge. Knowledge removes the wrong notion. You don't try to destroy the mirage water because it does not exist. Give me another example. I said, do you see your ground where you are sitting? Yes. Is it moving or steady? No, it is steady. But the earth is moving. Your experience that earth is stationary. Don't you feel it? Yes, I feel it. What is the knowledge? Earth is moving. So, do you do anything to the earth? No. Do you do anything to the mirage water? No. Do you need to do anything to this girl? No. You have to change your mind. You have to change your perception. Did you get it? My honey is crazy. My parents are like this. My neighbor is like this. Fire station doesn't listen to me. Do you see the point here? So when I'm 100% clear, I have to take over you, my mind, crazy mind. This is what I said. Either you work on the mind or the mind works on you. And it is deeper psychology than the modern psychology. So there we say that let us understand this mind completely. Is the mind uncontrolled? Understand the reason. And then he said, my mind is uncontrolled. I said, because you are crazy. Simple reason. You take over the mind. No, no, I don't want to lose her because I already have 3 years ago. I already had three broken relationships. Oh, I said, okay, you already had a good experience of three relationships that are broken. And this is the fourth one. Think, think. We get upset with a simple statement by a relation in a situation, in an event, and then we keep that memory alive all the time. What a great memory we have. So we're saying yes. Sometime I'm right for Sophie also. Think of it. But now come to a point to think. We say think. Only the human race can think. Why? Because we have a free intellect. And that intellect can receive the knowledge, retain the knowledge, change the entire perspective of life. We have done it in the material world. Application, gadgets, advancement, progress. We have done it. What we have not done? Can you imagine? Can you think of it? Since the beginning of a human civilization, we still had the same crime, violence, anxiety, frustration, failure, delusion. And we are living in the same state now. We have not changed. Did you get it? What point I'm making? We have not changed ourselves. Or you can say qualitative change is not there in our attitude and behavior. Quantitative change is there in the behavior. I'm a millionaire. Then what will you do? You'll be the millionaire. I married Miss Universe. Marry again. It doesn't affect me. But we are affected by it. We are affected by it. So there is no qualitative change in our attitude and behavior. Give me a practical example. How many times you got upset last week? Let us say only one time. How many times you were upset on the same situation, on the same event, on the same conditions for the last 10 years? Maybe 1,000 times. Don't you realize that I should change my being upset? I get upset after a few days, I'm okay. Again, I get upset. Do you see? That is the meaning of qualitative change in the mind. There is no qualitative change in the mind. And that is one of the major reasons of our anxiety, depression, duality, and a conflict in our life. Think. If I am wrong, challenge me. Why you should challenge me? Because I talk about only the knowledge from the Eastern wisdom. They have validated this knowledge for years and years together. So do you understand? You have to think, you have to brainstorm, you have to brood, you have to contemplate and reflect. Mind, why you get upset today? You have been upset on the same situation in event thousands of times. Is there any other way? Or simply I should not get upset? Because I get upset, I frustrate myself, I disturb my sleep, and after a few days I become the same person again. That is where the Eastern wisdom attacks us, and it says, let us change. The qualitative change in the mind means I should work on the mind. That is the meaning. The moment we choose to bring about a qualitative change by listening and learning these principles of Eastern wisdom, we become a seeker. We become a qualified seeker. Because I separate myself. I separate myself from one attitude of getting upset again and again on the same thing is the cause of anxiety, is the cause of fear, is the cause of frustration. What happens then? What happens? Just think what will happen. For example, you get upset over honey on a certain thing, you repeat it again. Now you have stopped it. What I have to do if the attitude of my honey is like this? I have to do nothing. I withdraw myself. I separate myself. Don't you think that your relationship will become better? Just by withdrawing, not by taking any action. Say yes, it will happen. It's a fact. We don't want to do. I have a big ego. That is what this young guy told me. No, after all, my ego should, I have an ego, at least he should say that I love you. And that is it. False ego. You see that it's a qualitative change in our life comes by qualitative changes in our mind. How the qualitative change comes, I have to think. Why? Because I'm given the free intellect. I can receive the knowledge, I can retain the knowledge, I can realize the knowledge. So when I receive the knowledge, retain the knowledge, realize the knowledge, my attitude and behavior changes. Come back to the qualified seeker. So when we are a qualified seeker, that seeker always succeeds. That seeker is going to realize the real self, can get the awakening. A revelation takes place. Oh, you all are seekers, so that is not a. So then we understand this why this mind becomes impure, deluded, illusioned. We recognize that it is the animal mind. The animal mind does not change. It reaches to a physical maturity. All animals reaches to a physical maturity, and after that the same habitual impulsive mind works. Problem is that we want to follow the same pattern which the animal mind have. And then we claim that we are the highly developed species on the earth. I don't want to give an example, but that will still my mind is pushing me to give an example. Now we talk of attachment, we talk of love, uh, deluded by an attachment. Take an example of so-called the motherly love. It is basically it is a very strong attachment and identification. Turtle travels thousands of miles, reaches to a beach, lays the eggs, returns to an ocean. As a mother, she never returns to take care of the baby turtle. And then the baby turtle comes out of the egg. One turtle comes out of the egg, and the baby turtle breaks the other eggs so that at least they have 50 or 60 baby turtle together, and then they start moving into the ocean. No parents, nothing. One example. Second example, two lions fight against each other for a lioness. They fight. When they fight, they don't think what will happen. They don't have a thinking ability. So one, the lion either escapes or kills. For what? For such a small pleasure. Not for pleasure, for regeneration, for reproduction. Why I raise this example? That we by delusion finds the finds the sex as a means of pleasure, food as a means of pleasure. More people die because of the food, because of eating the food that they like, they get obsessed with it, then people die of hunger. Modern lifestyle diseases, diabetes, and long list. Again, come back to the main point. Can I bring a qualitative change in the mind? And in another way, it is a sign of emotional maturity in my life. Physical maturity, animals have it. After that, they don't need any kind of mental maturity. They don't think, they don't desire, they don't have a goal. What happens even after physical maturity, the human race, the mind is still jumping. Mind finds a sense of insecurity, a sense of fear, sense of frustration. Come back to the same example of this young guy. I said, when I went to your house, you have such a lovely house. It is about $1 million. He is in 30s. He has a big car. He is a smart guy. He is handsome. He is intelligent. He is doing his business very well. So I said, why you are saying this? I said, where is the stress? But still you are in stress. Still you are suffering. That's why you contacted me. Why? Mental immaturity. Why? Impure mind. I told him that because you have seen almost all the luxuries, all the pleasures, and still you are not happy. Why you are not happy? You are still searching the peace and happiness outside. but the peace and happiness are within you. So the moment you start searching peace and happiness within you, you start growing with a mental maturity and the life will change. Think, my friends, we all have to think because we are lucky, given, offered a free intellect. You can say the free intellect or means the knowledge to receive the knowledge and the free will. What is that free will to act in a right direction based on the right knowledge? That is the meaning of the free will. I'm talking to, yeah. How dare you say, crazy to me? You have been crazy. You destroyed all our relationship. Can I hold it back for a while and rethink? No, I don't have time. I'm deluded. I have an ego. Do you see? It is happening in the society. All around us, very near, maybe with us. So, Master simply says it is your mental immaturity. You have to change your perception. You have to change your mind. You have to hold back. Before you speak, think. We have some proverb. Think before you speak. Thoughtless action or actionless thought. Are you getting it? So when the action is supported by what is the right knowledge and what is my right desire, the mind changes its quality. Do you agree? Say yes. But you listen and learn and then you think it over, and after thinking, then you will recognize what you will recognize, how your mind made a fault in your relationship, in your situation, in an event. So you become aware. And now you maintain that awareness. The same situation arises, you change it. I told you that this lady, she's over 65. Why didn't you meet me 30 years back? I should not have divorced. Now I realize it is my mistake. I said, now once you have understood, you change it. Mani vanishyanam karanam bandhamokshayo bandhai vishaya saktam muktai nirvishayam mana. This is the cause of the bondage. Mind is the cause of impure mind is the cause of the bondage, and the pure mind is the cause of freedom, suffering. This is how our master explained with reference to the mind. Last point that before we start the practice. One question that I asked you before, and you have to ask this question, remember this question all the time, the moment you wake up until you sleep, and ask yourself, did anyone send you the SMS, email, or text that when I meet you, you start fighting with me, you start reacting, you become angry? Does anyone send you the message? If no one sends me the message, then my crazy mind perceives with a wrong notion, falls into a delusion, creates an anger and getting upset. Is it not? Why should I get be carried away by any situation? Why should I get carried away by any relations? Why shouldn't I maintain? I should tell the mind, no worries, nothing outside can cause me any worries, any situation. Can I hold back my mind? Life changes. So question is, does anyone send you the message? Answer is big no. Then why I get upset? Because I make a wrong interpretation of that person, that situation, that event, that relationship. So when I say I make it, that I is the mind. It follows the animal nature. Let us, based on this, watch it, look at your mind. Let us start our practice. Eyes are closed. I've been talking more about the lane 1, lane 2, lane 3. So let us follow that. Eyes are closed. Adjust your body. So when you adjust your body, check that you are settled in a comfort zone. Comfort is always there. Who breaks it? Mind. How? Impurity. Where lies the impurity? Lane number 1. No, I forgot it. I'm reminding you. Lane number 1 invites unwanted, unwelcome thoughts in the mind. And when we feel them, when we see those thoughts are coming, we become the thought. The thought of a person whom we don't like comes into the mind, unwanted, unwelcome. The mind creates an interpretation, and then that wrong interpretation puts the body into a discomfort, at unease. Body starts moving, fidgeting, even during the meditation. What should I do? Lane number 2. What is lane number 2? My instructions. You are understanding. What you are understanding? That I have not to be participate in any unwanted, unwelcome thoughts in the mind. Is this not so simple, my friends? This young guy told me that I understand, but I said, don't use the but. You understand it is done. But sometime, because of mind is overwhelmed with the wrong notions, it does not happen. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Say in your mind, Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Why I am insisting with care that you are saying in your mind these Sanskrit phrases, it has nothing to do with cult and dogma and belief. When you are saying it, it triggers your brain because you are learning something new. And when it triggers the brain, you raise your awareness. When you raise your awareness, then we go for the meaning, let everyone be happy. Let everyone be happy, including yourself. And you start with that attitude, how I should think and act in a way so that I don't make anyone unhappy. You are dropping the wrong notion. Or to make it very simple, you are replacing the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts that constantly haunts you. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Let everyone be in the state of the well-being. pick up the main point that every living species wants to be in a state of the well being, a sense of security and the safety, starting from the ant, the tiger, the lion, the mosquito, the birds, so the human being. So, when everyone is seeking the state of the well being, from where these other animals learn this, it is inbuilt. But from where they inbuilt? We all are part of the existence. I, including the mosquito, we both are part of the same existence. I can recognize, they cannot. They cannot recognize and still they live in the state of well being. That is where the purity and the impurity of the mind comes. So this becomes a contemplative and reflective mindfulness practice. You are thinking, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed. Blessing from the existence is always there. I can become aware of the wrong notion in the mind at any point of time. In the moment you are aware, you can drop. The very understanding, knowing you are in a delusion, is dropping. Ma kaschid dukh bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukh bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukh bhag bhavet. Let none suffer from misery in this world. No one likes the suffering. But if we do not realize our thought and actions are taking us back again to the suffering, that is where the problem lies, and that problem is known as the ignorance. The entire Eastern wisdom says move from the ignorance to wisdom is the way. So we have applied the first step to purify the mind by this mantra. Your mind will say it doesn't work. So look inside the forehead in the space. See that emptiness in the space inside. I'm not saying you to look outside because the moment you look outside, the entire world of people, place, of the items, and the things are there in the world. So look inside the forehead in the space. Become aware of either the space emptiness or blankness and start breathing quick and short breath from both the nostrils into the chest. And go on doing it at least minimum for 2 minutes. Yes, including the disclaimer is there. You already know it, but you all are healthy. So I'm just addressing you all. Keep on. Continue, my friends. We are bringing about a change in our experience by this kind of a breathing. and stop it. You have a different experience, just become aware of it. Why we did it? There are many ways to explain this. We did this to bring the mind back from the lane 1 to the lane 2. You just look at the head and the neck in that state. You have a new experience. And we say, when you look at the head and the neck, do you experience sensation, relaxation, and the stillness, plus the reduction of influx of the thoughts? For that, you have to become aware. That is the way to change the mind. We cannot change the mind by forcing, by controlling, by suppression. I believe you are getting it. Move the mind on the right arm. Be there. Feel sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the left leg. Be there. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. I change the sequence. The mind wants to be habitual. Look at the left arm now. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the right leg. From the right side of the waist to the toes. You are simply looking now, not acting, not doing any practice, just an awareness. Why? Awareness results into perception. So we are asking the mind to have a perception means you see the things as it is. Don't give it your own interpretation. That is why I discussed that does anyone send you the message to react, to be angry when they meet you? Do you see that point? You're realizing that point. You're realizing that knowledge. Look at the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. You are looking, you are just aware. You see that? It's a right perception. The mind does not push you to give a new interpretation. So when you look the body as it is, there is bound to be a sensation, relaxation, and stillness. My friends, it is so simple. In that state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body, it is very easy for you to look at the breath. Why? It's very easy for us to move the mind with it. When the mind is in a wandering state, it always looks at the world outside. But when we can easily become aware of the breath that is going in and out, in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body, we have achieved a major step that at least the mind begins living within, it is aware of the breath. Then we explore. The breath goes in and out. You see that we are doing the same step but in a deeper understanding. So, breath awareness after sensation, relaxation of the body, the mind looks at the breath. Looking at the breath means the mind begins living within. So, here we explore engage the mind. When I say engage the mind, engage word comes from the engagement. There is no fight, there is no separation, there is no reaction at all. Casually, you are looking at the breath. You engage the mind on the breath. Means what? You know the breath is going in and out. Is it not so simple? So, when we engage the mind in knowing the breath going in, coming out, we also discover the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose. Why there is a sensation? Why? Because the air touches the muscles or muscles of the nose. Is it not simple, or I would say effortless? Yes. Why we do it? We want to make our mind subtle. But why? Subtle mind drops reaction habits easily. Did you understand? That is one role of the breath awareness. Because the mind has become so subtle, even subtler than the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, it doesn't pick up that. It doesn't get carried away. I believe, my friends, you got all of this. So that is what I call the three-pointed awareness, and then we will make our mind even subtler. First, you know the breath going in and out. That knowing is awareness. First point of awareness. Feeling the sensation is the second point of awareness. If the mind is engaged in unwanted thoughts and the feeling, you will miss the sensation here. You will pick up the sensation of the lane number one. I believe you are clear. You are in a practice. I'm just explaining as if your mind is explaining to you. And the third point is that there is no change in the rate and the rhythm of the practice. And now comes the fourth point. Let us pick up the point of the Tantra. What the Tantra says. There is a pause in the breath after the breath comes out and before it goes in. There are two pauses. One pause when the breath goes in before it comes out. Second pause before the breath goes in. Before the breath comes out, there is a pause. It is already in. It is in one direction. To reverse the direction, it has a pause. How come that pause? You drive your car, you're driving forward, you want to reverse, there is always a small pause. So you're asking the mind simply to become aware of the pause. Now look at it. Let me make it very clear. The breath goes in. Before it comes out, there is a pause. Breath comes out, pause. You don't create a pause, you see the pause. So there are four aspects of the breath. Breath in, before it comes out, pause, then the breath is out. Before the breath goes in, there is a pause. You look at that pause, that interval. Whether you say interval, you say it is a pause, you say there is a moment when breath is neither in nor out. One master of the Tantra says that when the mind is more aware of that pause, you are in a deeper state of meditation. A kind of self absorption takes place. The very doer of the meditation dissolves. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences now to understand more, to see what went wrong and what should be right. Bring the hands down. How are you, Sophie?
Thank you,
Thank you,
Girish.
Girish.
I'm
I'm
good,
good,
but
but
I
I
think I
think I
still
still
have
have
the
the
effect
effect
of
of
jet
jet
lag,
lag,
so
so
I
I
was
was
dozing
dozing
off.
off.
up
up
and
and
down.
down.
Yeah.
Dozing off on and off. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it happens. But when we reach to the higher state of meditation, if these travel doesn't affect us because it
I
comes.
have
I have
a
a
question.
question. Yes. What is the question?
So,
So,
what
what
do
do
you
you
mean
mean
by
by
self-fulfillment?
self-fulfillment? Ah, so there is a word self. So we normally have the false self and the real self. The false self is ego. It always demands desire fulfillment, and the desire takes our mind out for the sake of peace and happiness where it is not. So, throughout our life, we keep on running. There is no desire fulfillment. In fact, there is a lot of suffering due to the ignorance. So, we are understanding the self fulfillment by negating, we are excluding that part of desire fulfillment. So, then what is left? Then the real self is left. But what it means by the self fulfillment, that real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. You don't need a candle to see whether the sun rises in the morning or not. Same way, the real self is realized. It says, I'm peace and happiness. You need not to go anywhere. So that results into self fulfillment. Your mind remains calm, peaceful. How are you, John?
Hey,
Hey,
Girish.
Girish.
I'm
I'm
fine.
fine.
My
My
mind
mind
remains
remains
calm,
calm.
so
Very good.
everything's
Everything's
fine.
fine. Your mind remains calm. That's a wonderful expression. So recognize it. It is always good to contemplate after the meditation practice when you have this experience, the mind remains the calm. Let me understand, let me reflect. Did this calmness depend on anything outside in the world? The answer is no, including Sophie. Your calmness did not depend on anything. Your calmness did not depend even on the body. Look at it. So that is where the self fulfillment begins. Beautiful. How are you? And we have Mead still into a deep meditation, so no issue. Yes. Yes, and I muted it. So you have to unmute the sound button. Oh, it does not happen? No, we don't hear you. Yes, we hear you now.
No.
Now,
Okay, maybe.
okay,
Okay, let me
rephrase.
rephrase. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
feel
peaceful,
peaceful,
though
though
I
sometimes
sometimes
the
the
mind
mind came
came
up,
up,
but
but
I
I
was
was
able
able
to
to
shut
shut
it
it
up.
up. Very good. That is good. That able to shut it up means that with the knowledge, with an understanding, not by force, not by reaction, not by suppression.
No,
No. I became just aware, oh, that's not my way. This is my way.
that's true.
So that needs to be understood. Beautiful. Beautiful. And so, Mead, how are you? We thought that we are missing you. You were deep.
That was very deep.
That was very deep. Very good.
Oh.
Very deep. it is possible to remain deep into the state of the calmness while doing all our activities outside. It is a movement from inside to outside. That is another definition of self fulfillment, Sophie. Are you clear?
Mhm.
So you are always moving from inside to outside. The moment you move from outside to inside, you take multiplicity of the world of desires, of preferences, of likes and dislikes inside. And that's where the desired fulfillment is not possible. Think of, contemplate and reflect. I'm going to send you this file in few minutes after having one private lesson.